Time for a Man in Gray Shorty September book review. The Devil by Leo Tolstoy was published posthumously in 1911. This translation from Russian by Altamar Mod was from 2023 at 76 pages. Eugene inherits a large country estate from his father, but when he arrives, he discovers that his father had a gambling addiction and the whole estate is heavily in debt. So he sells off some of the property, sets up a factory, starts growing crops, and tries to gradually pay off all of the debts so that he can become a country gentleman like his grandfather. The problem is he's out in the middle of nowhere and he's been cut off. He had been living in St. Petersburg where he regularly visited prostitutes, but now he doesn't have access to these women and it's starting to bother him. So he sees one of his tenants, a watchman, who hooks him up with a local peasant woman named Stefaniva, who's married but whose husband is a soldier and he's gone a lot of the time. So the two of them get together periodically for little sexual trysts, and Eugene feels guilty about this, but he keeps justifying it in various ways. Everything comes to a grinding halt, though, a year later when he falls in love with a woman named Liza, and he marries her, and he puts Stefaniva away. But after Liza miscarries and is bedridden for a while, her mother shows up and starts heckling or badgering Eugene for being a bad husband. And Eugene's desire for Stefaniva comes back, and he's fighting it off because he doesn't want to be an unfaithful husband and he wants to be a good citizen, but he can't help the carnal desires he has for this peasant woman. Eventually, Liza gets pregnant again, gives birth to a daughter. Eugene gets elected to a local government, and he's paying off his debt. So externally, everything is great, but internally he's in agony because every time he runs into Stefaniva, he desires her, and the desire is almost uncontrollable, and she knows it. And so she teases him, grins at him, shakes her hips, and so forth, and it just drives him bananas. Now, Tolstoy wrote two different endings to this novella, 10 years apart. Both of them are abrupt, melodramatic, and tragic, and neither one of them really works. It's like Tolstoy kind of painted himself into a corner and couldn't figure out how to end the story. But even though the endings are not very satisfactory, the story is well written. Of course, Tolstoy is one of the great writers of the 19th century, and it's certainly well worth reading despite the unsatisfying endings. The Devil by Leo Tolstoy.